like to say I'm joined now by Crawley Town legend, Ian Payne. Payne, thanks for coming down and for a chat. It's obviously a series we're going to try and do, bringing some old players back. I think we've just done most of it off camera, but we'll do it again. Firstly, obviously, a lot of the newer fans, if you like, people sort of, I say, post-Man United fans or younger fans, probably won't know much about you at all. Whereas actually, a lot of our older viewers will probably know a lot about you and will be like, yeah, Ian Payne, club legends. A bit like me in the office earlier on, telling Sam all about that era. But firstly, tell us about how you joined the club, how you come about joining the club, and when you joined the club.
Yeah, you're making me feel a little bit old now.
Yeah, sorry.
You killed me. I joined back in '96, September, October '96. I'd just come back from playing in North America after doing a year as a pro down in Plymouth. Came back from Vancouver and struggled to get back into the pro game. So being a local lad, I spoke to John Maggs at the time, and he invited me down. And from there, played 2 days later on the next Saturday. So
it's
really
straight in those days, simple, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was nice and easy.
But obviously, so you was here probably over a 6-7 year spell in total.
I think I've done about 8 years in total. Yeah.
It was probably we were saying a bit earlier on off camera about Billy Smith was the manager I remember as a kid, pretty much standing here watching. Was Billy Smith, but it was really after he left, Francis Vines took over the side, and we ended up we had a little spell where we picked up like 7 trophies in 2 years. Obviously, you a big part of that.
Yeah, it catapulted from there. The side Billy Smith had put together was a really, really good side. And I'm not sure where he ended up going in the end, but he for whatever reason left. When Francis came in, inherited a really good side that kind of looked after itself a little bit. Had some experienced players, some good players that have been about in non-league for a fair time. And yeah, the 2 seasons after Billy Smith went were unbelievable. We had some great games, some great days, great nights out. And
yeah. Almost as important.
It was back in the day when you could do those kind of things.
And I think obviously the thing you're probably most remembered for by the Crawley fans is that season when Steve Claridge was running the Weymouth side and we were fighting with them for promotion. It's hard to find a lot online, but I found this from Crawley Town history. Ian Mulcahy, I'm sure, runs that website, so thanks to Ian for this. But it says the 2 teams, Crawley and Weymouth, met at the Wessex Stadium 3 days into the new year, and things looked like they were going wrong when Andy Little was sent off. With no goalkeeper on the bench, left back Ian Payne went in the sticks with his first job to be facing a penalty from Steve Claridge. Ian saved the penalty and Crawley went on to win the game 1-0. And we were saying earlier on, it was pretty much after that game we pushed on really and left Weymouth for dead, and really that was almost the turning point in the title. So I'm sure you're taking full credit.
Well, for sure, yeah, without doubt. It was an unbelievable few days for me because it was my eldest daughter, first daughter, was born on January the 1st,
right.
So 2 days before that. So she was born on January the 1st. I left Julie in hospital with her to come down here to play the New Year's Day game. And then 2 days later, obviously went down to Weymouth, and that happened.
And was that something that was planned, that if Andy Little ever got sent off, you were going in goal, or did it just happen sort of spur of the moment?
No, I did go in quite often.
Right,
I think that month Andy might have got sent off at least once more, but up at Grantham. So it happened. Not regularly, but I probably ended up in goal half a dozen times, I would imagine, 6, 7, 8 times maybe. And then wherever I've been since Crawley, I was the emergency goalkeeper for that as well.
Had you ever done any goalkeeping before, or was it just literally?
As a kid, I had an older brother,
right,
and used to play with his friends, and it's always, you're the young one, you can go in goal, we're just going to smash balls at you.
So I know that feeling.
Yeah, so I'd done a little bit in that respect, and I was younger, but nothing to any kind of level. I was just fairly confident. Short but confident that if I had to go in goal, I'd be able to go in goal and do all right.
And what was going through your mind? Because obviously Steve Claridge, I remember at the time it was a big deal him being at Weymouth. I think they were doing a TV documentary, so you sort of found yourself in goal as a left back in goal. Were we 1-0 up at the time? Was it 0-0?
No, we were 1-0 up.
1-0 up at the time.
I think it was about 60 minutes in.
Right. So holding on. What's going through your head when Steve Claridge is stepping up?
The only thing that went through my head, to be fair, was dive to the right, because you can only dive to the right. I could never ever dive to my left. So I knew I was always going to dive to my right. And luckily enough, he hit it to the right, and I got a strong hand on it and pushed it away. So
I can remember. I wasn't at that game. I was actually playing table tennis for for Sussex at the time. I remember coming up on the screen in them days. You always looked for the scores coming through and it coming in, then reading afterwards about everything that happened, like crazy. That season, it seemed to just go right. I don't think we were really fancied at the start of the season necessarily to go on to win the league. We probably weren't one of the fancied sides. But it just
no, I don't think we were. But we started strong, and like I said, we had a really strong side, and we got a little bit of momentum going, and we had a lot of confidence in the side. We knew we had a good side. We knew we were strong. We had a really good team spirit. Some of the players in there, and the spirit that we had was unbelievable. And we knew that on occasions that would carry us through. But yeah, after we beat Weymouth, they seemed to tail away. Yeah. We just kicked on and got stronger and stronger, and won it fairly comfortably.
Would you say that year? Obviously, we went away. I remember winning it away at Welling. I think beat Welling 3-0 and won it on the lot. Won it there and all the foul. I remember as a kid, there's a big drop onto the pitch and I remember a few people going over, and it felt like really, really low down. Was that the highlight of your career? Would you say that sort of that period of time?
Probably for while I was at Crawley, it was probably the best season that I'd had while I was here. The first year we came here was a good season, although we weren't a strong side. It was nice to be part of the transition from Townmead to really good stadium. At the time, still a nice stadium.
It's quite similar, isn't it? Other than
just that side that's changed a little bit. Everything else is exactly the same.
Yeah.
And it was nice to be part of the transition from Townmead to here. So that was probably, and the things that happened during that season. It's a shame that I'm only ever remembered for being a goalkeeper when I sort of played. I think I played over 300 games out on pitch, but it's a shame to be remembered for a save of a penalty.
I never realised how long you were here. I knew you were here sort of late 90s. I didn't realise how. I knew you'd played sort of a couple of hundred. I didn't realise how many games you played and how long you were here.
Yeah, just over. I think it was about 8 years in the end.
Yeah.
So just short of a testimonial, but we go back in. I'll have a word with them see if I can get one.
And so afterwards. You left Crawley. I know at one point you ended up playing at Horsham, didn't you? What happened after?
I went to Horsham with John Maggs over there, who was here when I joined Crawley. So I've known John for a long, long time, and I played over there for a couple of years. And then I had a really bad break of my leg. I broke my leg in 4 places playing up at Boreham Wood for them. And I think at the time I was 30. Started struggling a little bit to keep the weight off. I was never the fittest player in the world anyway. I never really done a pre-season. I used to try and avoid them until the game started. I was never really fit, but I kind of hit 30, broke my leg, and then things started to. I didn't want to end up playing sort of almost at a level that I was unable to cope with. I didn't want to become sort of a bad player. When I'd had a really enjoyable career, and I was sort of known not as a great player by any means, but I was a solid player. Yeah, I was a solid player at the level that I was
scored a few pens as well, I seem to remember.
Did score a few pens, yeah. I used to like taking penalties. That was probably my only chance to score, really. I never got far enough up the pitch.
Like a non-league Dennis Irwin.
I did like taking penalties. I think I missed 1 or 2, but for the most part I was fairly reliable.
And tell us sort of just finally what you're doing now, sort of in terms of work, and I know you've got sort of businesses.
Yeah, I've got a couple of businesses that are struggling at the minute, to be fair. One of them is hospitality and VIP tickets for things like concerts, Royal Ascot, Wimbledon, rugby and things like that. So obviously that one's dead in the water at the minute and has been for 6 or 7 months. And the other one is football, Premier League hospitality. So I'm an official reseller for various different agents and things like that. And again, that one's completely dead in the water as well. So it's been a tough 7 months. But during lockdown, I've actually retrained and done 11 exams and can now do bookkeeping and accountancy.
Okay.
So
you haven't wasted the time.
I've not wasted it, but so hopefully that might pick up a little bit and earn me a little bit of money while I'm trying to get through to crowds being back in the grounds, which is massively important, because there's nothing worse than watching a game on Sky TV or and having no atmosphere, no crowds, sounds piped in and things like that. It's just
it's not the same here. Like it's just really football. People say football's nothing without fans. It's proved it the last 3 weeks. It really is.
Yeah, and it's from what I can remember, it's so hard to get yourself motivated and realise that you're playing in proper games when there's no crowds here. It makes such a difference to you. Even though half the time you're blocking them out, you're aware of the sound and and all that kind of thing. I feel sorry for the players. It must be so difficult to get themselves lifted for the games week in, week out when there's nobody coming through the doors.
Yeah, but there you go. Payne, thank you very much for coming down. Really appreciate you giving up your time, and I'm sure like fans old and new will find it interesting to sort of hear about what it was like that time. We'll hopefully have a few more ex-players either coming down or sort of electronically getting in touch with them. So we'll have plenty more coming up on the show. But for the time being, back to you in the studio.